Now, Mexico has made headlines for one key reason, actually two reasons. One, they held elections. Two, and the main reason is that they have the first female president in over 200 years of their democracy. Wow! And that's none other than Claudia Sheinbaum. Yay! The women win again, and we're happy about that right here from Kenya, because that win is a win for Mexico, is a win for America, is a win for Africa, and it's a win for all women, just to remind you that anything is possible and you can keep winning. I know you're winning and you can keep winning. And in line with that, for all females who are watching this show and you've not subscribed, please, as a sign of winning, hit the subscription button and let's enjoy the story of Claudia Sheinbaum together today. Yay! Let's board. So Claudia Sheinbaum has been elected as Mexico's first female president, and she'll become the first woman president in the country in about 200 years of history of Mexico. It's unheard of, ever. She won with over 60% of the votes cast, and she promised a government without corruption and impunity. Claudia says her win is proof that Mexico is a democratic country. And in her maiden speech as president-elect, because she hasn't been sworn in yet, she said, and I quote, "We've all made it with our heroines who gave us our homeland, with our mothers, our daughters, and our granddaughters." That feels so good to say, especially as a woman. I love it when I see women winning. So Claudia was born to, her full name is Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo, was born to a secular Jewish family in Mexico City. Her maternal grandparents migrated from Bulgaria in the early 1940s as they were escaping the Holocaust that was happening back then. Claudia will also be the first person from a Jewish background to lead the overwhelmingly Catholic country. Interesting, it's something I think, I don't know, maybe I've never thought about it fully, but I knew there are so many Catholics. But apparently this, now having read a lot of information, I see it's such a huge Catholic following in Mexico, and that's very interesting to learn also. So she was born on 24th June 1962, and that means that she's now 62. Oh, wow. Interesting. She was born on 24th June, which is this month, and this is the month she's become president, and this is the month she turns 62. Hey, that's a very interesting birthday gift for her. And she's a climate scientist and an academic who also served as a former Mexico city mayor. Sheinbaum holds a degree in physics and a master's and doctorate in energy engineering. She has received several accolades for her academic career, and if you read about her academic career, it's a whole, like there's a lot. So you can just go and find the links to other stories. And she's married to her husband. This is where, as a Kenyan, you pronounce these names in a very interesting. The name is Jesus Maria Tariba, but I want to believe it's pronounced as Jesus Maria Tariba, who will now become the first gentleman of the country. The two met while at university, and Sheinbaum a while back shared that they maintained a relationship during their university days, but then everyone went their own ways after that. And in 2016, when she was the mayor of, it's called Talapan, and already divorced, like she got married to some other gentleman called Carlos Imaz. They parted ways, and in 2016, she met again with the former guy who were the Jesus. They met again in 2016. Here she had already divorced Carlos, her ex-partner. So when they met when Tariba was working at Banco in Spain, and in November 2023, that's last year, Claudia shared through her social networks that she had married Jesus in an intimate ceremony. Interesting. So Tariba now, the husband, holds the position of a financial risk specialist at the Bank of Mexico. And President Claudia is a mother of 2 children and 1 granddaughter. So Mexico has a grandmother for a president. That's interesting. In 2018, she became the head of government of Mexico City, and even on this post, she was again the first woman elected to this position. She has so many wins as a woman, and it's just great to see how determination can push you to the levels that you desire. So her desire to be part of the Mexican politics began in 2000 when she was appointed the Secretary of the Environment for the Federal District under Andre Lopez administration until 2006. In 2007, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which she contributed because she was in that department, they received a Nobel Peace Prize. Again, another win. Not many people have gotten Nobel Peace Prizes, but her committee got that, and that's interesting. So much of her life has been dedicated to university teaching, and she's been focusing on renewable energy and climate change. And of course, you know now climate change is a big deal in 2024, and to have a president who focuses on that, maybe this is a plus for Mexico. Maybe this is one of the things Mexico needed as a change. The interesting thing about this Mexico election that was done this month is that the two leading candidates were actually women. Claudia Sheinbaum, now the president-elect, and the other lady called, the first name is Xochitl Galvez. I come from East Africa, so these Spanish names may be very hard to pronounce. So hence there was no doubt that Mexico would make history by all means, having two women who are head to head. Of course, they expected there was history coming, and for sure, they made history. Claudia Sheinbaum will start her 6-year term on October 1st, 2024. And you know we're in June, so she has about 4 months to prepare for that swearing in. And key to note is that Mexico's constitution does not allow a re-election of any candidate. So all they have is one-term president that serves for a period of 6 years. So if she gets in now, 6 years, in 2030, she's done with that and on to the next person. So unlike, I mean, in Africa, I think most democracies in Africa allow for mostly 2 terms. Most nations, most are 2. But there are nations that have more, like in Rwanda, Kagame has done, I think now 5 terms and is running again. So different nations with different democracies practice different things. But for Mexico, it's a 1 term, 6 years, you're done. Claudia rode the wave of popularity of her long-term political ally, who's also the outgoing Mexican president, Andrés Manuel, and their Morena party. So it was easy for her campaign maybe became easy because also the former president is loved by most of the Mexicans, and he did a lot of projects to alleviate and do away with poverty. So probably people felt they needed, the people felt that she would serve as a continuation of the projects that were started by the former president. Now, as the new president, Sheinbaum will face several challenges, including security, organized crime, energy and immigration, and would also set the tone for the pivotal US-Mexico bilateral relationship. Remember, the biggest challenge for Mexico is actually organized crime with the gangs and the expanding territorial control of cartels and gangs. In Mexico, because of the drug lords, the cartels and the gangs, big problem. This is something everyone is watching to see how she manages it, because the former president tried, but a lot of Mexicans felt that he did not meet to the required expectations. But Sheinbaum hopes she will believe that. She actually said that she believes the government has a strong role to play in addressing economic inequalities, which is what they say is the cause of the gangs, to sort the gang mess. So maybe she has a way of, sorting. And for her, she actually had laid down 5 of her key proposals to transform Mexico, which was on security. And she says that a 5-axis strategy to address and reduce insecurity, free and scientific education, meaning she wanted to give all education levels, she was saying, should be free. Economy with a social spending orientation and minimum wage increase. So when you increase at least the economic minimum wage, you're able to uplift people. Water use regulation. Mexico again suffers the problem of water regulation, and that's familiar if you're from South Africa. That's something South Africans also go through. And also energy transition, because of course she's a climate and she's a climate scientist. So for her, she really wants to promote renewable energies to reduce water scarcity and electricity and gas expenses for the people. So those are things she feels she will be able to do to sort the mess that has, been facing the people of Mexico. So something else is that Mexico's homicide rates is among the highest in the world, and more than 100 people remain missing in the country, according to data from there. Mexico is also grappling with a surge of immigrants and asylum seekers entering and crossing its own territory. So while it contends with external policies and migration and border security crisis, the whole idea of asylum seeking has been a big mess and a big challenge for Mexico. So Sunday's vote came just months before the US presidential election, where again, immigration is a top issue. And Mexican officials expect that the negotiations will be more, when they meet with the US, the negotiations will be more difficult if the US presidency is actually won by Donald Trump in November. It's a reminder that the US is going for elections in November, and the two key candidates, the current president, Joe Biden, and the former president, who's also Donald Trump. And Trump had actually during his term, he had suggested that they build a wall between them and Mexico to avoid, the movement of people from Mexico to his world, and also because of drug menace. If he wins in November, it will be very interesting to watch how this whole thing develops. And Trump had also vowed to impose 100% tariffs on Chinese cars made in Mexico, and said that he would mobilize special forces to fight the drug cartels. See the things I'm saying. If Trump wins this election in November, it will be a very interesting season to see the relationship that comes up from presidents. Now, by then, Claudia and Trump as two presidents of two nations. It will be very interesting. Share with us in the comment section what you think and feel about Mexican election, your new or acquired knowledge about Claudia, and maybe your best wishes for her in the comment section, and actually how you think she will transform, or what you feel she will transform Mexico to be now moving forward. And actually, as the first woman to make history in 200 years history of that nation, what you expect of her. Share with us in the comment section, and thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, comment, and keep sharing our content with your networks, and so that we keep going and creating more to educate all of us. See you on the next one.